Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and this is Shannon's Book Nook. And today I am going to be starting a video where I use one die to, is it die or dice? Anyways, I use one of these things to pick what I'm going to read. Let's get into it. Okay, so I have two different ways of doing this, and I'm going to kind of change it up depending on how I'm feeling. Do I really want to choose, or do I want kind of the choice being taken away from me? So let me explain. This challenge is I'm going to roll the dice one time, and I'm going to get a number, 1 through 6. And based on the number, I will then get a prompt or a book, depending on which version I decide to use. I will be sure to specify before I do my roll, okay? So the first version is when we roll the die, I get a prompt. Like if I land on a 1, it would be continuous series. And you're going to see me looking off to the side because I have my computer over here. So if I roll a 1, it's continuous series. If I roll a 2, it is an LGBTQIA book. If I roll a 3, it's a graphic novel. If I roll a 4, I have to read an arc. If I roll a 5, I have to read a book where the letter S is in the title. And the way this is going to work is it does not have to start with the letter S. It can be anywhere in the title. It could be in the middle of the word, end of the word, second word, third word, whatever. Anywhere in the title, there has to be an S. And I'm doing that because my name is Shannon and that starts with an S. Okay. And then last but not least, if I roll a number 6, I have to go out, buy a new book and read it, which is kind of exciting because I never get to do that ever. I don't just go out, buy a book and come back and read it. So that's kind of exciting. Now, the other version is when I roll the die, it gives me a book title. So this would change every time if I decide to use this board, the second board, after I roll the die, obviously that title would then come off the board and I would put a new one in. So this one is going to be changing if I decide to use version 2. So if I roll a 1, the first book that I would read is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I am super excited about this one. And I love Abby Jimenez. So of course I would love to roll a 1. If I roll a 2, it would be Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. Now this was on my May TBR and I did not get to it. So that'd be great to get to. If I roll a number 3, Anne of Green Gables, which is a graphic novel version adaptation. So I haven't read Anne of Green Gables since I was a little kid, and reading the graphic novel version just sounds like fun. A quick, easy read. If I roll a number 4, I'm going to read Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder, I think is the author's name. I have seen this book on Instagram and it looks good. Looks hot, spicy. And I need something like that right now. If I roll a 5, I will read Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, which is a fantasy romance. And I have been influenced to read this one, very much so. So we'll see how that goes. And then the last one is number 6, obviously. And this one is the same as the last board. Go out, buy a new book, and read it. So now that we've talked about the boards, let's get into the first roll. Okay, so for this first roll, I am going to use that second board where I roll the dice and it gives me a title of a book that I'm going to read. So, let's get into it. You're sitting on a table, a little like TV dinner tray table. So this is going to just kind of have to be the honor system. So let's get into it. That was a number 4. Number 4 was Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. I'm so excited for this one. Let me pull up a synopsis for you and read it. Okay, so I moved a little bit because I don't have my iPad up here or anything like that. So I'm looking at my computer screen and it says, in Fiasco, Kentucky, there is one rule: never fall for a fox brother. Any woman who did ended up dead. It wasn't just a rumor, it was my reality. I buried my wife along with too many secrets surrounding the night she died. Now I'm a single dad with two priorities above everything else, raising two girls and making great bourbon. But when Faye Calloway returns after I ran her out of my small town, looking like a fantasy on stage and nothing like the cop she was trained to be, I know for a fact that she's hiding more secrets than the one she blackmailed me to keep. While everyone is focused on the teasingly beautiful burlesque dancer, I'm distracted by the woman with a hidden agenda. The smart mouth who says what she wants, and the instigator who prefers a very specific way to drink her bourbon. But as secrets begin to unravel, I realize she's fiercely protective of the ones she loves. When she puts herself in danger to write the past, the rules stop mattering. Only two things have the power to keep my family from falling apart and losing the woman I love: bourbon and secrets. And then it gives like a list of tropes. So if you don't want to hear the tropes, skip the next like 15 to 30 seconds. Okay. So we have romantic suspense, which I absolutely love because it kind of mixes a little bit of like mystery with those romance things. So love that. I also love this next trope, which is single dad. Love me a single dad. Small town, secrets and blackmail, hate to love, returning home, found family, and bourbon tasting. I have a feeling that's like a spicy tasting. So yeah, I'm super excited to read this. And this cover, I'll put it, it's probably already there. I'm loving the cover. I have gotten to just over 100 pages in Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder, and I am really enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it. So we have Faye Calloway, who has basically been, I don't want to say exiled because she left willingly after some kind of mysterious event happens. And she has a run-in with Lincoln Fox, who is who owns a bourbon distillery with his family. So on this last night, they have some kind of run-in, and he sees her trying to clean up what looks like some kind of accident. She's like covered in mud and blood and has a knife. And then when he goes home, he finds something. And I'm very confused about those events. And so then that literally happens in the first like 5-10 pages. Okay. So then fast forward, 5 years has gone by, and Faye Calloway is having to come back home to Fiasco, Kentucky. And she is a burlesque dancer. But we also find out that she is a private investigator, kind of maybe working undercover type thing. And so she has to go home for this case, and she's still going to be a burlesque dancer in her hometown, where she has known everybody since she is a little girl. So that is a little strange, but also it gets the attention of Lincoln Fox very quickly. So their banter is quite funny. She says things, she's very sassy and just sarcastic, and throws him for a loop a lot of the times because she doesn't respond the way he anticipates her to respond. And so he's always like, wait, what? And he's mad about it, but also like kind of turned on as well. So it's funny to see them interact with each other, but we don't, as the reader, we don't have all of the information. Like, I don't know, do these two have a past, like before they were adults? Like it seems like their houses are next door to each other, like they're neighbors. So you would think they would know each other pretty well. In a small town, normally neighbors know each other. So yeah, I have questions because it really doesn't seem like they know each other very well. So I do have questions, but I am enjoying it so far. Faye has a younger sister, Maggie, who is a hot mess. So I'm interested to see, how that plays out, because Maggie is pissed at Faye. Pissed that she left. And so, yeah, there's going to have to be some mending of relationships. And I also love that Lincoln has, you know, after the events of that first mysterious night that we learned about 5 years previously, he is now having to raise two daughters as a single father. So watching him interact with his girls, who are now, like, one of them I think is 12 or 13, she's starting to become preteen, she's starting to get that attitude, and he is just like, oh god, here we go. So yeah, I am enjoying it, and I'm about 24% into the book, and I am going to keep reading. All right, I have a little bit of an update for you on Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. I'm about 60% into this book, and I'm still having a really good time with this. I really love the main characters, both Lincoln and Faye. I love them separately, but then when they come together, their banter and their communication, they are very vulnerable with each other, and they do keep secrets, but it's mainly because, you know, of what Faye is doing. But at this point in the book, she's kind of confided in Lincoln on kind of what's going on, and because of a scene that has happened already, and he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, I know you didn't just come back here to be a burlesque dancer. You could have gone anywhere in the United States to be a burlesque dancer, and you chose to come back home. I know there's something else going on, and I know you're not ready to tell me. So when you are ready to tell me, you let me know. And so I just love that exchange of like, look, I know something's going on, and I know you may not be able to share it with me right now, but just know that I know something's up, and I need you to talk to me about it when you're ready. I love that. I don't know. I just love that open communication, because one thing I cannot stand is a miscommunication or a non-communication trope where we just don't even talk about it. We know something's going on, but we're just going to ignore it and get pissed and be mad about it. No, let's be adults here. And the fact that Lincoln is 38 probably is the reason why he's willing to be like, hey, I know something's up. Just let me know when you're ready to talk about it. But I love both of these characters, and we have had a couple of spicy scenes. Up to this point, I have counted 3, all of which, the first 2 were just kind of spicy scenes. They weren't the full, wasn't the full thing. Okay. But they were both in public. And the way the second one kind of plays out, I got secondhand embarrassment for both of them, because they were sort of caught by people you don't want to be caught by. So yeah, that was funny how that played out, but I also was kind of embarrassed for them. And then this last scene that I literally just finished was the whole shebang, and it was good. But yeah, so I am still really enjoying myself. I'm glad I'm really enjoying myself, and I cannot wait to see the climax and kind of what's going to happen with all of the suspense that has been built up to this point. So I am ready to get this book read and finished. So the next time I check in with you will be, I finished the book, and I will let you know my thoughts. I finished Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder, and I loved it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did tear up at the end. I had such a good time with this book, and I loved so many of the characters, and the like mysterious, like the suspenseful parts. I was not expecting. I did not predict. I didn't predict anything correctly, which is nice, because, you know, my brain likes to try to figure things out before it happens. And sometimes that's great, but sometimes I predict it really early, and then it causes me to be bored. But I was never bored in this book, and I loved so many of the characters, especially Lincoln and Faye. But Lincoln's 2 daughters, Lily and Lark, I loved them. And they were just so accepting of the relationship. Like, Lark was a little hesitant at first. She's the older one. She's a preteen. 12, I think is what she was, 12 or 13. And, you know, around that age, you know, it's just been the 3 of them for so long. So she, you know, it could go one of 2 ways. Either she's going to be very accepting of this new relationship, or she's going to hate it and could possibly sabotage the relationship for her dad. But I'm happy to say that, like, I loved the way this was written. I loved the outcome of it all, and the communication that is happening throughout this book. The communication, the consent, just all of it was so well written and so good, and I loved it so much. Highly recommend. I don't know if this is quite a 5-star, but it did make me tear up. So I think I'm leaning 4 just seems too low, but 5 just seems too high. So I think I'm going to give it a 4.5. A 4.5 is what I'm going to land on, because I had so much fun with this book. So 4.5 stars for Bourbon and Secrets. And yeah, let's find out what I'm reading next. All right, so now that I have finished Bourbon and Secrets, we're going to roll our dice. So we're still going to be using the board that has the titles of a book. I'm not quite ready to change. There are some books on here that I really do want to get to. So the spot for number 4, which is the number that I rolled for Bourbon and Secrets, the title that has replaced it is Till Summer Do Us Part, which is Megan Quinn's newest release. And I am super excited. I have been hearing people, this is one that has definitely, I've been influenced by people online, specifically Bookstagram. There have been a lot of people talking about this book, and so if it doesn't deliver, I'm going to be very upset. So let's roll this dice. Sorry, it's going to be the honor system. Oh, we got a number. Sorry, I picked it up weird. It was a number 6. Go buy a new book and read it. The thing is I kind of don't want to go buy a new book right now, because I literally got like 12 books in the mail from my Atria partner. But the prompt says what the prompt says. Can I do my most recent purchase? Literally just bought like 4 books at Half Price Books like 4 days ago. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Since I literally just bought 4 books, we're going to pick one of those 4 books to read. And the next time, if I get so lucky to land on a 6 again, yeah, we'll actually go out and buy a book. But since I literally just bought 4 books, I should probably pick one of those. So the 3 books that I bought, 3 of them were Maya Banks's historical romance, Scottish Highlander romance books. So I'm probably going to pick one of those, even though I should probably really pick the other one, which is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, which is my book club pick. And we were supposed to meet on Thursday, but so many of us had changes in plans and some people were not feeling well. So we rescheduled for this coming up Wednesday, which is in 4 days. I should really pick that one. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Let me get the synopsis. Okay, I've kind of moved you over a little bit so I can look at my computer. So when I'm looking out to the side, I'm looking at my computer. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis, I don't think, because this is a thriller / mystery, and I don't want to. A lot of times they give too much in the synopses. So yeah. Then she was 15, her mother's golden child. She had her whole life ahead of her, and then in the blink of an eye, Ellie was gone. Now, it's been 10 years since Ellie disappeared, but Laurel has never given up hope of finding her daughter. And then one day, a charming and charismatic stranger called Floyd walks into a cafe and sweeps Laurel off her feet. Before too long, she's staying the night at his house and being introduced to his 9-year-old daughter. Poppy is precocious and pretty, and meeting her definitely takes Laurel's breath away, because Poppy is a spitting image of Ellie when she was that age. And now all those unanswered questions that have haunted Laurel come flooding back. What happened to Ellie? Where did she go? And who still has secrets to hide? Unfortunately, I feel like I already have a pretty good idea what is happening, but we'll see if my theory pans out. So while I'm listening to the audiobook for Then She Was Gone, I am going to be making these diamond drawing bookmarks. I've actually already started one, and it's really easy and super cute. And this part just kind of goes over the page. Yeah. So I'm hoping the rhinestones actually stay on. Maybe, I know I have some like diamond glue. I might actually put that on top when I am finished. So yeah, I'm going to work on this and get back to reading. first one, which is like a light pink, and it's super sparkly with the little rhinestones. I love it. And I have 3 more that I can do. There's this golden one, yellowish. There's this dusty rose color. And then there's this greenish color here. So I think I'm gonna do this green one because I'm really liking this color. And I'm gonna set this one off to the side, and I'm probably not gonna keep all of these. I might gift 1 or 2 to my mother and my sister-in-law. This would be a cute like stocking stuffer for family. So I might think about that. This could also be a cute gift for my book club. You know, that might be what I'm gonna do. I might buy another one of these, like another set, and make some for my book club. And if you're in my book club and you watch this, you know nothing. These are taking me very little time to get done. I finished the green one, which I think if I'm comparing this one to the pink one, this one is my favorite. I'm really liking the green on this one compared to the pink one. So yeah, they're taking me about 30 minutes a piece. So, you know, I've been working on this for about an hour and I've got 2 done. I think I'm gonna save the other 2 for another day, but that's gonna be hard because I have all these open packages of rhinestones, but I do have a lot of like little small snack sized Ziploc bags that I think I'm gonna put, because they're like these little small bags and there's quite a few of them that are open already. The only ones that I have not opened up yet are these 5 bags. These are not opened yet. So I don't want to lose all of these rhinestones that are opened. So I think I'm gonna put them in little plastic baggies to help keep them organized. But yeah, so I'm excited. They're super cute. And you just put them on the little book page. Like for example, I have a book right here and I'm just gonna open it up and I'm just gonna slide it on the corner. Like this one is actually really big for this small book, but yeah, whoopsie. Let's try that again. This one, like I said, this one's gonna be, you know, maybe I'll do some more pages. That works better. But like I said, this is really big compared to the book. So yeah, like, yeah, super cute. I put like 15 pages in the bookmark to help it stay. So I'm gonna keep listening to Then She Was Gone for a little bit longer. I'm on chapter 10. I'm not very far. The chapters are pretty short. Actually, let me go grab it real quick. Okay, I was wrong. I'm only on chapter 8, but that's page 30. So I can't really give you any initial, like any information other than what I've read in the synopsis. But I do know that it's going back and forth between like present day and then and like what happened. So I'm enjoying it just fine, but I'm only 30 pages in. So we'll see what happens. And I will check in with you when I get to around the 25% mark. Good morning. I have a little bit of an update for you. I am about 68% into reading Then She Was Gone. And I anticipated updating you before this, but you know, I got a little carried away. So I don't know how I feel about this book. So one thing you need to know about me is I do not like reading the synopsis of most of the books that I read, and this is why. I think going forward, if I'm going to read a thriller, I'm not going to tell you anything about it because then it spoils the book for me a little bit. I had a feeling as soon as I read the synopsis, I knew what was going on in this book. And everything that I've read so far has been kind of affirming everything that I thought. Now, I don't know the specifics, but I do know like my little theories of like the puzzle pieces of putting who and who did what. So that leaves me a little bored, which is the problem that I had with her newest book. I was so bored because I predicted it. I predicted what was going on with like in the first, 20% of the book. I don't know what I'm going to do. this is a book club pick, and I'm already far enough in that I'm gonna finish it, but I don't know, I'm a little bored. Obviously, I'm not gonna tell you what's going on because that would be spoilers, and I'm not gonna do that. So, but I don't know. I'll come back when I am finished with the book and I'll let you know my final thoughts. Okay, I have officially finished Then She Was Gone. Just hit myself with the book. I did like how this one ends, not gonna lie. It was a kind of bittersweet ending. I feel so bad for Poppy in this situation, and Laurel and Ellie. Oh, so I'm not mad about how it wraps up. The person at fault got what they deserved, and I am glad that things worked out the way that things worked out, and it kind of felt like a bit of like restoration for the family, which is a nice ending. The epilogue did get me a little teary-eyed, not gonna lie. So yeah, I don't know if it's definitely, I don't know, maybe between a 3 and a 4. So maybe I'll settle on a 3.5. But yeah, I had a good time with it towards the end, I will say. So now it's time to roll the die one last time for this video and find out what we're reading. So we're still gonna use the second version where I roll the dice and it tells me a title that I'm going to read. So I haven't changed anything from the last time we talked. So 1 is still Say You'll Remember Me. 2 is Wild Eyes. 3 is Anne of Green Gables. So you know what? I might change that out for Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. So 3 will now be Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. Till Summer Do Us Part. 5 is Shield of Sparrows, and 6 is Go Buy a New Book, which we don't want to land on right now because I don't feel like going out and buying a new book. So here's the die. Shake it up. What? Budge. It's a 6. And we just did a 6. We just did a 6. I don't feel like doing a 6. So I'm going to re-roll. My game, my rules. Don't come at me. That's a 3. I'm picking it up with my fingers like this so you can tell it is a 3. That is Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood, which works out really well because I am doing an Instagram challenge with a group of people. It's like a readathon, team-based competitive type thing. And right now it's a chaotic summer readathon, okay? And when I mean chaotic, it means you can't even plan your TBR with this because the host will throw wrenches in your plan. So the wrench in the plan for this week is that you do a book swap with people. And basically what that means is like you send a list of like books on your TBR and someone will pick which book you're going to read. Or you can just say, hey, give me a book rec. And they give you a book rec. Well, I have already done this. And one of my books on there was Deep End. So this works out really well because I have to read it anyways. But now I'm going to read it for this video. So I will give you a little bit of a synopsis of what Deep End is. Give me a sec. Okay, so what I do know about this is that it is obviously it's a romance. It's also a sports romance. So diver and swim team. So we have a competitive diver and an ace swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. I do also know because I saw a note in the front of the book that says that we deal with a little bit of exploration in the kinky dynamic, like a power exchange specifically. So we'll see how I like that with Ellie Hazelwood's writing. I love Ellie Hazelwood, by the way. I've read a lot of her books. I think out of all of her books, I haven't read the most recent one, the Problematic Summer something or another, the new one that just came out. I haven't read that one. Love Theoretically, and there's another one, Not in Love, I think is the other one that I haven't read. So there are 3 that I currently have not read from her. I've read everything else. So besides Deep End, obviously, but I will be reading that shortly. So Scarlett Vandermeer is swimming upstream, a junior at Stanford and a student athlete who specializes in platform diving. Scarlett prefers to keep her head down, concentrating on getting into med school and on recovering from the injury that almost ended her career. She has no time for relationships, at least that's what she's telling herself. Swim captain, world champion, all-around aquatic golden boy, Lucas Baumquist thrives on discipline. It's how he wins gold medals and breaks records. Complete focus with every stroke. On the surface, Lucas and Scarlett have nothing in common. Until a well-guarded secret slips out and everything changes. So they start an arrangement, and as the pressure leading to the Olympics heats up, so does their relationship. It was supposed to be just a temporary, mutually satisfying fling. But when staying away from Lucas becomes impossible, Scarlett realizes that her heart might be treading into dangerous water. I am so excited for this one. I'll come back at you with an update later. Good morning. So I am off to the pool, and I have a little bit of a reading update for you. Pause. I had to grab my book because I am 189 pages into this bad boy, and I am loving it. If it keeps going the way it's been going, this will probably be a 5-star rated book. Shh, don't scare it away. Don't scare it away. Okay, so I'm loving both of these characters. Scarlett and Lucas are top tier. Love them. And even the ex-girlfriend, Penelope, I think that's her name. Yeah, Penelope. She's pretty great too, not gonna lie. I have really been enjoying my time with this book, and Scarlett is kind of meek and quiet, and she forgets to breathe sometimes, which is quite hilarious because normally it means she's like super embarrassed about something that's going on. But we've already had a spicy scene, and Ali Hazelwood knows how to write those scenes. I mean, golly, wow. But yeah, so I am leaving to go to the pool. It's gonna take me about 35 minutes to get to my sister-in-law's house, my brother's house, and I need to stop and get breakfast first, and it's already 10 o'clock, so I need to get going. And I'm going to be listening to my audiobook for Deep End because, you know, your girl's got to find out what's going on. And I'll check in with you when I have an update. I did it. I finished Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. So I absolutely loved this book. Was it perfect? No. There is one scene in particular that I did not gel with that made me go, whoa. That was really close to crossing a line. So if you don't know, this book does deal with some kink, and there is power play, which just means that one person is the dominant, one person is the submissive, and the submissive is handing over power to the dom. And there is one scene where Lucas gets very, very, very close to crossing a line of taking what he knows about Scarlett and their dynamic and almost crossing a line into abusing that power. So I didn't really like that so much, of course. But everything else about this book screams 5 stars. Just that one scene of almost, he didn't cross the line. He was very close though. And I don't know how will that one scene impact my whole enjoyment. I don't know. I'm going to have to sit with it for a while, but it's either going to be a 4.5 or a 5-star rated book. So I did just finish it before I took a shower, so I don't know quite yet how I'm going to rate this book. It is storming, by the way. I don't know if you could hear that. That was a big thunder. Anyways. So I finished Deep End, and you know, I finished it a lot quicker than I thought I was. So I think we might have time, if I have as much fun with the next book that's picked, I might have enough time to read another one in time to wrap up this video. And if I don't, you know, no big deal. So I got my die, and I can't decide. Do I want to just continue using the same board that we have been using? Or do I switch to the other one? Because I could make this the dice picks what I read for the whole week. I think I might keep it. I think I'm going to stay with the second. So I rolled a 3 last time, which was where we got Deep End. I had exchanged it out previously, like right before the roll. I did have Anna Green Gables, the graphic novel adaptation, as number 3, and I had switched it out. Do I want to put Anna Green Gables back on, or do I want to just switch it out for something else? Let me look at my Kindle real quick. Okay, I got it. I need to read either A Fate of Furies by Helen Scheurer, which is the 3rd book in a series, which will be really hard for me to talk about for this vlog. I don't want to spoil anything. Or I also have A King So Cold by Ella Fields, I think is the author's name, which is a book 1 in a series. Do I want to start a new series? Do I want to continue a series? They are both romantasy. I think I'm going to put A King So Cold for number 3. So if I get a 3, A King So Cold will be the choice. So let's roll the dice. And I'm going to use these 2 fingers like I did last time to pick it up. It's a 3. So A King So Cold will be the last book. I rolled a 3 again. That's funny. Unintentionally, of course. But A King So Cold is what I'm going to be reading for this vlog or this video. So let me pull up a synopsis real quick for you. All right, so the synopsis says, Lies, Love, Lust, and Power. Bestselling author Ella Fields delivers her sexy, wickedly addictive, dark fantasy romance. All my life, I'd known my marriage would be arranged. What I never expected was to fall in love. My betrothed was arrogant, dressed in royal finery, and I longed to both disappear and step closer whenever he entered the room. As princess of the Moon Kingdom and daughter of the cruelest king our land had ever seen, I was well-versed in deceit and debauchery. The Sun Kingdom's sly prince was no threat to me. Assuming that was a grave mistake. For the ever-present smirk, irritating charm, and adoring gleam in his eyes began to melt the ice encasing my heart. All too soon, hatred turned to love. I was captured by something I had rarely experienced before, happiness. But I should have known better. After all, I'd been raised by a monster, and little did I know I was about to marry one. So it does say contains dark themes and a HEA, no cliffhanger, recommended for 18 and older. So it does say no cliffhanger, but this is book 1 in a series. So I'm wondering if maybe the next book follows a different couple in the same world. I don't know how that's going to work. So let me see. Nope. Okay. I am excited to read this one, and it is on my TBR for this month anyways, so I'm glad to be getting to one that was on my TBR, because so far, I think, other than the thriller that I had to read for book club, none of these books that I've read so far are on my monthly June TBR. So, I'm going to go read. Actually, I'm going to go get lunch real quick, and then I'm going to read, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. Guys, I don't even know what to say. It's been several days since I've updated you. For you, it's like a couple seconds. But for me, it's been like 3 or 4 days since I've checked in. And I have gotten to about 95 pages of A King So Cold by Ella Fields. And I am so confused. I have no idea what's happening. And I am bored because I'm confused. And I keep telling myself, give it just a little bit longer. She's setting up the world building. Like, I get it. But I think if I am after another 50, 60 pages, if I'm still confused and not enjoying myself, this is going to be a DNF, because it's dark. There are some sexy scenes that are just like, all right, but I'm confused. And don't get me wrong, like the queen, Audra, I think that's her name. She's a bitch, but I love it. If I knew what was going on. I am so lost. And I don't like feeling lost or confused in a story. That's not fun for me. So I'm going to give it just a little bit longer. And we'll see if this can get turned around. All right, so I did it. I finished King So Cold by Ella Fields. I struggled with it in the beginning. And it did take me a while to finally get into it and stop being so confused. After I got to like 100, 120 pages, I started to kind of enjoy myself. But I still think this is going to end up being a 3-star read because... So in the synopsis, it says no cliffhanger. And I was questioning that because I was like, how is there going to be no cliffhanger in this book? But I know this is a part of a series. I'm going to say I don't agree with what it says in the synopsis. I feel like this is very much a cliffhanger. It's just not one of those, we're going to drop a bomb and then leave you hanging. It's not that kind of cliffhanger, but there are a lot of unanswered questions, and that ending wrapped up so quickly. I was actually kind of confused by the ending because I had to go back and reread because I'm like, how did that even happen? Like, you're stretching here. I have so many questions on that based on the ending. But I enjoyed. There is a little bit of a love triangle going on. And there is one male in particular, and I feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler to say, and I'm not going to say his name, but there is one male in particular that I absolutely adore and love, and who would be the right choice if that's who she decides to go with. But there's also, I don't know, there's something that happens, and it is going to be maybe a little bit spoilerish. But I feel like I have to talk about it because it's kind of icky. So when he meets her, she's a child. He is basically immortal, like has a very long lifespan, and she is a child. She's like 6, I think, when they first meet, maybe 8. And she matures at the age of 14. And he basically goes for it. Hi, Bubby. I'm pet sitting for a friend right now for my neighbor, and he just hopped in my lap. He's so cute. But, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that part. That part was kind of gross to me. And then they kind of write it off as like, well, age is just a number. Our lives are so long that like once she's 14 and you're like 100, possibly older. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it. There were parts that I did like, parts that I didn't like. Will I read the next book? Probably, because there were some elements that I did enjoy. But I will say this video took a lot longer than I originally planned. I intended on ending this video a week ago. Because I picked, literally a week ago, I picked A King So Cold last Thursday. It is Thursday again. This video goes up on Sunday, and I was anticipating already being done with it so I could edit and schedule it and all that jazz way before this point. So this video has gone significantly longer than I had intended. Not time-wise, but like length of, me working on it and getting this book read. I had anticipated being done within like 4 days. So I will say that also affects my enjoyment, because obviously I wasn't enraptured enough to continue picking up the book. You see what I'm saying? Like that, if I'm not feeling a book, I struggle to pick up said book. So yeah. Anyways, so this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you stuck around for this long, Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you next time. Bye.